All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to tackle an absolute giant of American literature, Walt Whitman's Song of Myself. Now, this is a sprawling, totally radical, and just beautiful poem that was trying to do something huge, capture the soul of a nation, and maybe the entire universe. I know, it can feel a little intimidating, but don't worry. We're going to break down all the biggest ideas together. Right from the jump, the poem kicks off with one of the boldest opening lines in all of poetry. Seriously, this isn't just an introduction, it's a mission statement. Whitman is basically declaring that his personal celebration is also a universal one, right down to the atomic level. He's immediately saying, hey, my identity is connected to your identity. And that brings us to the poem's central mystery. Who is this I that's speaking? Because it isn't just some 19th century poet from Long Island. No, it's something much, much bigger. Figuring out the identity of this I is pretty much the key to unlocking the entire poem. So let's get right into our first big idea, Whitman's whole concept of the self. This is where he really just breaks from tradition and invites us into a totally new way of seeing not just ourselves, but, well, everyone. Okay, so this is absolutely crucial to get. When Whitman says, I celebrate myself, he's not being arrogant. Not at all. He's celebrating a collective self, one that includes you, me, and everyone else. It's this incredible identity that just blows past the individual and becomes cosmic. And I just love how he holds these two ideas in perfect balance right here. On one hand, you've got the personal, individual I, just a guy loafing on the grass thinking about life's mysteries. But then that same I expands to see himself in all people, connecting with literally everyone. It's both deeply personal and completely universal, all at the same time. And here it is. This is where he hands the power directly over to us, the reader. He's not just telling us we're all connected. He's demanding that we trust our own experience. He's saying, stop relying on others. Heck, even stop relying on me. And start filtering the world through your own unique, yet universal self. So this idea of a universal self builds directly into another one of his totally revolutionary concepts. Think about it. If we are all connected universally, then the physical body, our vessel for experiencing everything, that has to be sacred too. You have to remember, in the Victorian era of the 1850s, this was scandalous stuff. Poetry was supposed to be about these lofty spiritual ideals, not the messy physical reality of being human. But Whitman saw things completely differently. To him, the body wasn't something to hide or be ashamed of. It was a source of pure wonder. I mean, this line is a direct challenge to the religious and social norms of his day. He just refuses to separate the body from the soul. For Whitman, they are two inseparable parts of a single, divine whole. Every single part of us, he argues, is worthy of celebration. Period. And this gets right to the heart of his whole philosophy. How do we tap into that universal self he's always talking about? Well, it's through our senses. He writes that seeing, hearing, feeling, they're all miracles. For Whitman, real knowledge isn't found in a book. It's found in the raw, direct experience of the world to our bodies. Okay, so if the I is everyone and the body is sacred, how does Whitman actually pull this off in the poem? He does it by trying to contain the entire chaotic, beautiful mess of America itself. This is his signature move for sure. He creates these massive, rolling lists of people, places, and jobs. But it's not just some poetic technique. It's a political and philosophical statement. He's structuring his poem to be a true democracy on the page, where every single person gets a line. And just think about the timing. This is pre-Civil War America, a nation literally tearing itself apart over who belongs. This is a radical political vision. Just look at this small sample from one of his catalogs. He puts the president on the exact same list as the prostitute and the runaway slave. The machinist is right there with the lunatic. You see what he's doing? In Whitman's vision, all of these people are equally part of the American fabric. There's no hierarchy here at all. So what this means is that his universal I becomes a kind of conduit. He uses his poetic self to give voice to those who were silenced by society. He doesn't just observe them from a distance, he claims to speak through them, to embody their experiences and insist on their place in the national story. All right, let's turn to the poem's most famous symbol, the grass. This is how Whitman really unpacks his unique take on life, death, and what might come next. And everything shifts with this one simple, beautiful question. The poet, this guy who seems to have an answer for everything, he actually admits, I do not know what it is any more than he. And it's that humility that opens the door to one of the poem's most profound explorations.
So instead of just one simple answer, Whitman gives us a whole catalog of possibilities. He wonders if the grass is a symbol of his own hopeful nature, or a gift from God, or maybe even a child itself. But it's his final guess that is the most powerful, that the grass is the hair growing from the graves of the dead.
So by seeing the grass as the uncut hair of graves, he physically connects the living and the dead. The grass becomes living proof that life doesn't just stop, it transforms and continues in this perpetual, beautiful cycle. And this really gets to his ultimate conclusion. For Whitman, death isn't the final stop, not even close. It's a transition, maybe even a promotion. The grass, constantly growing, constantly renewing itself, is the ultimate evidence that life is just an endless process of becoming. Nothing is ever truly lost. So, after this epic journey through the self, the body, democracy, and death, how in the world does Whitman wrap it all up? Well, the truth is he doesn't. He turns it over to us. The entire poem has been preparing us for this very moment. He's taught us to see with our own eyes, to trust our own experiences. So in the end, he kind of steps back and makes it crystal clear that the journey of Song of Myself is now our journey to continue. These final lines are just an incredible act of generosity. He's telling us that he hasn't disappeared. He has simply dissolved back into the world, into the dirt, the air, the grass he loves so much. The poem's meaning isn't just on the page. It's out there, waiting to be found in our own lives, as he says, under our boot soles. And that is the challenge and the gift that Whitman leaves us with. He wrote his song of himself, but in doing so, he gave us the tools and the permission to find and sing our own. So the real question isn't what the poem means, it's what it inspires you to discover.